Wistoria, Wand and Sword. Is it a watch or a pass? And where would it land on the tier list? It's anime Harry Potter, or so I thought. There's Hogwarts and Hermione. Is this Ron because of the red hair? And this is Harry, although he doesn't have the lightning mark. But this guy does, and Harry can't use magic? So yeah, the main character, Will Surfort, can't use magic. The theme is quite similar to the anime I reviewed before, Mashal. Anyway, the story is like centuries ago. Invaders from the sky, called the Celestial Hosts, attacked and almost destroyed the world. 5 mages managed to fight off the attackers and set up a barrier in the sky to keep them out. These 5 mages became known as the Magia Vander. They're the strongest mages in the land, and they maintain the barrier that protects the world. The current generation of Magia Vanders live in a tower called Mercedes Callis. The School of Magic, or the Regarden Magical Academy, trains new mages, and the strongest of them can become part of the Magia Vander. One of the students is Will. Will is actually a struggling student because he can't use magic. Other students call him a flunky, except for Colette. You see, Colette is an admirer of Will, and she's always there to support him. But Will has all his focus set on becoming a Magia Vander because the love of his life is already one of those elite mages. As I mentioned, Will can't use magic, so it's really difficult for him to get ahead, but he's really determined to become a Magia Vander. So he does his research, like obsessive research. He does well in written tests, but that's not enough. Another way for him to move up is by collecting points from defeating monsters in the dungeon. He does this all the time, to the point of mastering the strengths and weaknesses of the monsters. You see, if you've played an RPG before, Will is not in the mage class. He's a warrior type, apparently the only one in the land. So what he lacks in magical ability, he makes up for in strength and speed. Plus he's got wit and has a lot of experience fighting in the dungeon. He's actually a force to deal with. Everyone got to see this when Will faced off with the top student, Julius Reinberg, in the Grand Festival. Earlier, Julius was insulting some dwarves in a tavern Will was working in. So in this world, people look down on dwarves because, like Will, they aren't capable of magic. But people like elves because they have stronger magical abilities than humans. Both the dwarves and the elves' homelands were destroyed by the celestial hosts. And now they're living in Wistoria along with the humans. Anyway, Julius mocking the dwarves agitated Will, and they got into a fight. It ended in a draw, and Julius challenged Will to fight him in the Grand Festival. In the Grand Festival, Will fights with Julius without any magic. He's doing it with physical strength, skills, and tactics. This caught the attention of the Magia Vander Scouts and the other top students. In fact, after the festival, he was invited to join a party along with several high-skilled students. This is for the all-student praxis, an event wherein the lower levels of the dungeon are opened up for the students. So the lower levels have the stronger monsters. Liana would be the leader of this group. Liana is from a noble family, and she's one of the best students in the academy. They're aiming to bring down a high-level monster with Will's help. Since this will bring in a lot of credits, Will accepts. And so Will shows his worth during the praxis, but things take an unexpected turn. 2 teachers are found dead, the floor collapses, and Liana's party falls to the lower floors. What happens next? Let's start with the most obvious part, the animation. You'd notice immediately that it's gorgeous. I mean, it looks good. From the characters' simple movements to the epic battles, the animation is a feast for the eyes. The battles are close to the Demon Slayer fights. World building is superb. They made a living, breathing world. The places don't feel empty. I kind of want to live in that world. It's definitely inspired by Harry Potter. People online are saying the story is fine, like nothing great or unusual. The big picture revolves around humanity's fight against the celestial hosts. Right now, the anime is focusing on Will's journey. He's definitely going to have a crucial role in that fight. Anyway, for me, it's not just about the story, it's also about how you present that story, storytelling. And how they show the story of Wistoria is amazing. Even if the story is simple, like One Punch Man, if it's executed well, then that makes it a high-value show. The characters are well developed. Will looks pretty bad at first. You feel sad for him, struggling in school, no ability to do magic in a world where that's the most important thing. But like Naruto, after all he's going through, it will be revealed how strong he can become. He's dead set on achieving his goal, which is to become a Magia Vander, to be with Elfaria. So this shows how his efforts, like meticulously researching the weaknesses and quirks of the monsters to the things he learns from fighting them. Over time, all this builds up and helps him get ever closer to his goal. You would hate the top students at first because they act arrogant, but they're pretty insecure when you get to know them. The other students admire them, but they feel like they're the flunkies compared to the true great mages. So they work extra hard to get better. You can see them break down, and then they look at Will. They admire Will because with all his inabilities, he keeps pushing forward. All this builds their group chemistry, and they start to understand each other. I don't like Xion very much though. He's always angry. He's too proud to admit that he admires Will. So he's grouchy whenever they're together. He reminds me of Bakugo from My Hero Academia. Anyway, I felt good watching the show. The fights are exhilarating. I care about what happens to the characters. Never felt bored at any point in each of the episodes. It feels like a treat to join them in their adventures. I love, love, love it. I'm curious about what exactly the Mage Evander does. Is there more to them than just maintaining the barrier that protects their world? Probably. I'd like to see what the dwarves can bring to the table, since they can't use magic like Will. Some sources say they have a big role in the future. They're usually good at crafting stuff. Will actually studies dwarven history, so he can get ideas on how to beat enemies without magic. So what's the verdict? Wistoria Wand and Sword is an S-tier anime. It's that good. It's definitely a watch. Have you seen this anime? What do you think? Subscribe for more. You can watch my other videos here.